February 5th, 2026. Today we went up to Fairlawn. As we went to walk in Bob Evans, some ladies are walking out. She said, I hope those apostolics realize that those church people, they can't just make up something or drug someone and tell them to say something and then there's no proof of a crime. How stupid they are. I know. We all heard how that agent talked to her on that recorded line. Went in and ate. Carl Sugar went too low. Gave him a lecture about eating right, like I always do. You know, when I first started eating him, his sugar was average 350. The doctor told him, you don't get your sugar under control, you'll die. And I told him he would make me a widow before a wife. You will get it under control. I started getting him healthier foods, more foods that he could eat. His sugar dropped the average between 200 and 250. A1C went from 9.9 to 7.9. Matter of months. His blood work, because I always keep him busy, even the blood work where it shows how much you're moving around is equivalent to a 40-year-old and he's 80. The VA loves me. The only thing we don't have under control is his diabetes, the highs and lows. And that's just learning to eat and manage. Went out and bought him sugar-free Klondike bars, ordered from special bakeries sugar-free cakes to see how much it would alter his sugar. Sugar-free candies, sugar-free different things. And the alternatives. And then healthier foods. He can have all the meat and cheese he wants. Make sure it's accessible. Since we've been dating, everything's got better, including the sugar, but it's still not under control, the sugar. But everything else has got better, and he's gained 17 pounds. He was 130 when I started dating him. He's 147. He needs to get up around 155 to 160 to be healthy. Because he can eat like all he wants, a chili, floppy Joe sauce, tuna, cheeses, boiled eggs. He can have all that. It's just teaching him what he can eat and what he can't eat. One time he came home from the farm. He said, I need insulin bad. My sugar's 350. I'm like, what did you eat? Well, I stopped at a gas station and went, what'd you eat? He said there was a bag of potato chips. I said, how big? He said, well, we'll put it this way. It wasn't small. There wasn't much left when I got done with it. It's like, you are such a bad child. But, it has to be hard not to be able to have stuff like that. And everybody has cravings. But learning if you cheat just a little bit here and there. And pound out popcorn don't do a thing to him. It's another freebie. See what I mean? It's just teaching them to be healthier. And when to take, and he said out of his other two wives, they never cared. No, they didn't care if he lived or died. But I do. It's just keeping him alive and teaching. His parents lived up to be 100. And his family lives up to be 100. So he could have another 20 years here if he gets his sugar under control. That's the last thing we have to get under control. We keep an eye on his skin cancer caused by Agent Orange. Get him checked out and get him burned off all the time. Got out. He suffers from working and serving in the army. They got exposed to those dangerous chemicals. Caused thyroid cancer, had to have his thyroid removed, skin cancer, had to have him cut out, burned off. Even cost him his hearing. He had a skin cancer inside his ear. They had to go and cut part into his ear and take it out, and then drained in, set up like a hard mass, and we had to get a surgeon to cut it out, and that's when it damaged his hearing. He can still hear, as long as he's not in a lot of noise, and then he can't distinguish it. Has hearing aids, but of course he don't wear them. But that's a whole different subject. Is stubborn. Well, he doesn't like the fiber optics because they're too. He needs a solid one. We're gonna see if the VA can get him a more sturdy one. Who cares if you see it? But he's got a lot healthier because I get after him about his food, exercising. Got him a rowing machine, a stationary bike. Got a senior treadmill coming with bars on the side and a big stop button. That'll go like a half mile an hour to up to 3 miles. You can set it. Stuff to burn off sugar naturally. The VA mentioned he needed one, so I got him one. Okay, with that being said, the lady where I went to the doctor's office today to have that treatment, she's like, "You're such a good wife." I said, I hate nagging him. She said, "But it keeps him alive." The other ones didn't care. He said, "You're the only one that ever cared." He had ragged shoes, ragged clothes. He has nice clothes, nice shoes, nice coats. He didn't even have a decent winter coat. He does now. He has several. Now, these people are so ridiculous that are doing this to me. Like those ladies said today, we all heard how that agent talked to her. You listen to the recorded line. It is horrifying. Like an investigator said, he almost fell out of his chair. One said he came up out of his chair. There has been police officers admitting they listened to the recorded line. It's a protected custody case with statements. The recorded line has to be attached to the case for it to be legal. He told the police he was only acting that way to get the drug dealers. I was in Summit Mall later. Some lady was there. That agent needs to be arrested for obstruction to justice. That those people weren't taken care of that did this to her. Yeah. Don't forget he stole my money too. But these people are so stupid. Like those ladies said, those apostolics need to realize they can't just make up something or drug somebody and tell somebody to say something and then steal from them. You actually have to have proof a crime happened. That's where a lady was outside my work was talking. Oh my goodness. We found out the doctor from before is just some guy Dave hired on his own. They said they think he's a drug dealer. He's not even a doctor. We never thought that they had to have evidence of a crime. We thought they could just say it. There's no physical proof of a crime. Tell everybody not to say a word. That's like that idiot in my old apartment in Louisville. When I got my new car last year, that's a really nice car. It's a really nice car. We thought if we had Melissa show up and say something, the police would take her car from her and give it to her. And she'd have to make the payments. See, they're nothing but thieves. And they said they don't take people's cars or money. They just prosecute people. What do you mean you want our car? Because they realized they were just thieves. And they started turning everything around on us. Oh, and now they have the FBI case. And like last week in Summit Mall, the people that were following me, guess what they released Thanksgiving of 18? What happened on Thanksgiving of 18? The police and the FBI taped Melissa's kids saying they made everything up. They were games of pretend section, laughing in the basement. Actually laughing. What else they taped? John saying he didn't know. Melissa was, because he told them that I was going to go through a divorce, going to be moving out, that she just had the kids make up something. And our church people too, but don't worry about it, Mom. Nobody can say anything bad about you. Just be made up because of the divorce. Says it several times. Defends me. Completely. Told you the police and the FBI called her out for lying several times during the case. Several times. Investigators. In May of 21, I left town and I went into Pennsylvania. Some girls were following me. They were at a gas station, looked at their phone, and said, "Oh my goodness, Kurt found out those kids are lying. He's going to kill her." I'm like, Kurt's slow. They said they were lying on Thanksgiving 18. Got home, I was talking in my car. Some sheriffs come out of the building in uniform laughing at Kurt just found out those kids are lying. He is lying. January 12th, 22, 4:55 p.m. Officer John stops men at the door. What those kids get tape stating? They made everything up. I was in Mount Carmel, Illinois in June or July of 21. That weird Eric that made fun of everybody November 18th, 22, that all the tapes before were him and not me, and done for a stunt for people to turn on me and they fell for it. Jackass. His phones are going off around me in a gas station. Eric, you said what? Eric, you said what? I'm sitting up. Back in 21, I used to smoke. Okay? Sitting outside my car smoking a cigarette. People were walking by saying they didn't want me in their shit-ass horse town. A woman that almost died to save everyone. They said it one too many times. I screamed at that street. Screamed. You don't want me in your shit-ass horse town? That's fine. If you don't believe I'm innocent of everything, call the Madison police. Google their phone number. And I yelled it out. And I screamed, swearing at all of them. Whole street went quiet. Some guy, a few minutes later, they sat there documenting me games of pretend. She never hurt anyone. Two FBI agents. In 21, I found out they were feds later. I thought they were cops. What are these people talking about? She's never hurt anyone. It was like June of 21. What is it? March 13, 23. We told these people stay out of it. She's never hurt anyone. Nobody's ever seen anything. It was just some lady thought she could make money out of it. I think she was a lady with the Louisville police saying that she was going to trick me out of a bunch of money. It's illegal to trick somebody out of money. Where Officer Mark was telling investigators, Melissa could go to jail for involving herself in this. I'd hate to arrest her. Her kids are little. Why don't we just write it up that they were showing off for Dave's new girlfriend? So it's wrote up. Do you know for having your kids pretend something and nothing happened to them? You can go jail 20 years. He was generous letting her go. See, nobody went to the hospital. There's no pictures of injuries. There's no police report. Police and FBI were already there. And they taped Melissa. For Melissa's so stupid, she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. They called her stupid. She can go to jail for obstruction to justice. It's already wrote up on her file that she lied during an FBI case and tried to obstruct justice. She can't go to jail. You do realize that. A long time. Then think how stupid she looks. Nobody went to the doctor. There's no police report. There's no pictures of injuries. There's just her saying it. How stupid are you? How stupid are you? They're documenting me in jokes. They have talked about it even December 23, January of 24 in Alliance. People scattered. They said that Melissa and her kids are nothing but mean jokes. Her asking people to help harass her. They need to put her in jail for lying. Yeah. About the same time, maybe October, November 23, I was in Walmart on the strip. Some guy, one of the investigators are watching me. He's on the phone. He said, Melissa promised some guy if he paid for the harassment, he'd get all kinds of money out of this when they're done. And he found out he could never get money out of this. Well, tell him too bad. We taped those kids saying they were lying a long time ago. I'll take care of him. Well, it's just like that stupid apostolic bitch. What was it? May 16th, 17th, down at Soul's Palace. Godless whore. She needs to shave her hair off, put a bikini on, and a cigarette and a beer in her hand, and act like the prostitute she is. Walking by, thank goodness, we had a doctor tape her unaware. They did it to me. Thank goodness we had that doctor have her say it, so they had him drug me up and have him say it to me. And because we did that to her, and we had that doctor do that to her, we can hurt her in any way and get away with it. Just say we're making fun of her. Even tell the cops we hurt her. Psycho. April 16th, 23. After Jen's mom's memorial service, where I'd been asking Danny if he knew what was going on. He didn't. And him and Jen walk up to Gabe and Shay. I said, I finally went to Dad. Ask him what on earth is going on. He said he hired some guy named Pete on his own. Pete has been in her home before. Pete has a frame. Pete has a tape, the filthy, dirty statement. I've never met him. Never talked to him. It's just some guy Dave hired to drug me up and tell me to say it. Just some guy. Like the lady said, we heard he may be a drug dealer. Duh. I guess they didn't understand August of 23 on a Tuesday between noon and 1, Officer Mark saying it's documented and verified. She was framed before. And it was a drug cartel in our home before we seen them. It's documented and verified another woman was using her insurance, and it was a medication error that made her sick before. You didn't understand them, huh? You didn't understand them? See, these people, they thought that if they had some drug dealer drug me up and tell me to say something horrible, oh, we'll have them verify the horrible. And then she'll go to jail. And nothing happened but me getting hurt. That's just like saying if they drug me up and say, tell her to say she's a bank robber and she robbed this bank once, and we'll have somebody verify it was robbed. And then there's no police report, no bank robbery. Just people saying they drugged me up and told me to say it. Somebody had said they verified it. There was no bank robbery. There was no crime. See, it was a bitch move. John had just left Melissa, or Melissa left John in May of 18. By July, they're going through a divorce. When the case started, they were just finishing up their divorce in September of 18. Her being in it with Dave. And they're calm. Thinking they can pull a fast one. Had me drugged up and told to say it. Oh, we'll have someone verify it. That'll make it legal. And nothing ever happened to anybody. See, that's where, when I had a dog bite last year, I called a personal injury attorney. They told me you have to have so much for a case. You have to prove you were injured. You have to have pictures of the injury. You have to go to the hospital. They have to document that the pictures of the injuries match up with injuries. And then the treatment form, and then a police report that was documented that you were hurt. And because it was a dog bite, the dog board. Once you got that, you proved injury. Now you have to prove responsibility. You have to prove that person physically or that dog physically hurt someone. And I said, well, I have a witness. That's not good enough. It's good to have, but it's not good enough. And I said, well, I made a phone call outside their home after that dog bit me. And they said, well, they could always say it was another dog. I said, even the neighbors see me right before I pulled out still could say it's another dog. You have to have physical proof that dog did it. I said, well, if you want physical proof where it bit into my arm, that latched on my arm, bit through my coat, I still have the coat where I have its DNA all over my coat. She said, now you proved it. You have to have all that just to start, or you have nothing. 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 So where they thought they were being smart asses, where I move into a new home, they kick in my door, legally set up button cameras stalking me, Photoshop a shower scene in the other room, I found out. Framed Danny and Jen that they were in it with Dave, and they reported, and they didn't know nothing about it. Okay? And we're, by the second week, I'm waking up with orange, lemon, and grapefruit-sized bruises all over me, severely infected. The well water out there is orange. I had to get a water treatment system. It took me a couple months to get it. Bring in bottled water to cook and drink. But you have to take a fast shower. You have to wash your hands. And my personal area is also on. I'm thinking, I'm playing with the dirty well water. I didn't even think it's giving me cancer. I got bruises all over me. I'm throwing up, and the only thing I'm doing is bathing in that water. It's making me sick, right? I have orange, lemon, and grapefruit-sized bruises all over me. Okay? All over me. I'm going to the doctor. I might get cancer from it. Is it infected my personal area? I'm even dizzy to the point I'm almost passing out. I've been thrown out. They're treating all the signs of being drugged, being raped, and I'm blaming the dirty well water. Okay? Never even had my neighbors in my home. Talk about scary movie shit. A sexual predator's breaking into somebody's home, stabbing them with hypnotic drugs, telling them to say and do things. And they have no idea, and then beating on them, and no memory of it, even the soul. You talk about scary movie shit. It's not even funny playing with somebody on that kind of level. And, oh, we'll have them verify it. No, they wouldn't. See, they lied on all my kids. They tried to say, oh, Josh said she was a flasher. I called Josh. Josh is like, I'd verify you never flashed me. And are people making up stuff like that? I'd move away, move away, Mom. I'd move away, Mom, if they're going to make up stuff like that on you. As if. I can't believe people are just making up stuff like that. Just like, what did John say on Thanksgiving 18 when I asked him? He didn't know. And he told Melissa I was going to be moving out, going through a divorce. Should have the kids make up something. Don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. She'll have her church people make up something too. But don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. Just be made up because of the divorce or you're moving out. Shouldn't have said anything to happen, but I did. And because I did, and nobody can say anything bad about you. Don't worry about it. He shoes me. Literally shoes me. Well, after their divorce and after mine, Melissa decided to go in for the kill for taking the kids from John, basically. She dropped off the kids, got everybody settled. He had to go to the bathroom. Goes in the bathroom. She sneaks in his house. Hides. He comes out of the bathroom. She lunges at him, screaming. He shoved her, being startled. Anybody would. She laughed. Now I got you. Had him arrested, domestic violence. That's not domestic violence. She should have been arrested. You have a right to defend yourself, and she had no right barking and entering. He lost his kids. He calls me in like 2020, 21. He said, Mom, I need a reliable name to pick up Kenzie Harrington and Noah. And he said, I need you to pick the kids up from school and watch them till I get off work. I said, John, I'm working 2 jobs. I don't get off the first one, let alone the second one. I'll lose my apartment. I'm sorry I can't help you, but Mom, these are my kids. Please help me. I'll lose them forever. I need a reliable name to put on the court records to pick up my kids after school. I need you. I told him I'm sorry. I can't help you. And he pleaded and pleaded, and I felt horrible. But I made minimum wage. I had to work more than one job. I couldn't help him. He lost his kids. He moved to Florida, met this other woman. They're married. They have a new baby. He started his own church. Their lie is, he verified that he was part of having me drugged, being raped. No, he didn't. Where they're supposed to have drugged me up and told me to say horrible stuff, laughed in my face, they did. He was not part of having me drugged, being raped. In a drug scam. See, they were those idiot apostolics, these low-educated, stupid, mindless, horrible occult. Oh, we had a doctor drug her up and tell her, well, Dave said it was just some guy named Pete. He hired on his own. He admitted it wasn't my doctor. Just some guy he hired. What did the apostolics say? They had him do it to me. I don't know who it is. As a bitch stuff. Drugged me up and supposed to told me to say horrible stuff. Oh, they verified. Verified what? They were part of a rape? A drug scam? I don't think so. See, Dr. Haben on Frank Road in North Carolina is still very much working after 50 years. He told the investigators There was never any sign of any abuse on any of those children. He would have reported it. And they were all very well taken care of. See, you can't drug somebody up and tell them to say something horrible like that, and then there's no medical proof. No pictures of injuries, no police reports. Nobody ever had any signs of any abuse. It was a bitch move. And a stupid one, because there was no physical evidence of any kind of crime. And then when you look at somebody and they're being abused, you can see it on them. They look down. They can't make eye contact because they hurt. My kids were happy, normal children. They look you right in the eye and talk your ear off. They still will. They're chatterboxes that would never shut up. They were normal, happy children. So, like those ladies said, those apostolics, they can't just make up something. And there's no proof of no crime. And they sure can't have somebody drugged up and told to say stuff. And then there's no proof of a crime. Like I said, they'd been like them drugging me up and say that she robbed a bank in Arizona. And somebody say, oh, I know that bank was robbed. They check with Arizona. There's no bank robbery. It's a made-up scenario. Get the idea? They thought the FBI was stupid. They thought society was stupid. They could just roofie somebody and tell them to say something stupid and say, oh, I'll verify the stupid. It don't work that way. Matter of fact, the opposite. John asked me to be a reliable name on a court record to pick up his kids. And what did he say? No one could ever say anything bad about me. I went to Dave to clarify everything, and I taped him. I said, Dave, I've never hurt anybody. He said, Karen, you're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids, you're good to everyone. No matter who it is. You would never hurt anyone. That asset did it because I expected him to defend me. He did, to the limit. Get the idea? It's just a bitch move. This whole case is nothing but a bitch move. Okay, now we're going to go forward. My coworker, Dar, she had a set of twins. One died. She's sitting around home crying. Her friends got a babysitter for the surviving twin, took her for a night out. They went to a bar. She was sitting at the bar bawling. We gave her some space. She ordered a drink. They're keeping an eye on her, but just letting her cry it out. She remembers taking a drink. Nothing else. She said her friend said after she took a drink, a few minutes later, a group of people they didn't know came up and talked to her. They didn't think anything. She's talking and acting fine. When she left with him, because she was talking and acting fine, they didn't think anything of it. She woke up outside in a puddle of pee. Got her cell phone. She's thrown up, messed up, couldn't hardly sit up. A few months later, she went to the doctor. She was pregnant again. She's arguing with the doctor. I've not had sex with anybody. How could I be pregnant? She said, it's not that I don't love my son, but I don't know what happened to me. My neighbor Mike got roofied in the bar in Louisville. I used to smoke in 21. I got up in the morning, I went out of my car, and I lit up a cigarette. He walks up to me and said, I got a problem. I don't know how I got home. I'm like, go sleep it off. He said, you don't understand. I've been sitting there for hours. I don't know how I got home. I said, go sleep it off. And then he says it again. I said, well, you remember the second pair? I'm like, just go sleep it off. He said, you don't understand. I got money in my pocket. I don't know where it came from. I'm like, check your bank. I did what I told him to. He's like, I took 100 out. That explains the money. But what was in the box with mustard? And how did I change my shoes? I realized somebody roofied him. I said, go sleep it off. He said, you're pretty. I used to be a New York cop. Do you want to go cuddle? I'm like, go sleep, Pamela. Sometime had elapsed after that. I asked him, I said, you told me you used to be a New York cop. He laughed. He said, I don't even remember saying that to you. He said it was the weirdest thing. I don't remember anything past the second beer. I met a U.S. Marshals kid um, at a storage unit. She found out her boyfriend of 8 years had been cheating on her for the last 2 years. And she didn't know. She was still in the Army. And she was asleep, and he came home one night and punched her in her sleep, broke her nose, called 911. He was arrested. She said it came out that he had been cheating on her for 2 years, and he just left a strip club when he came home and beat on her in her sleep. She said since then, she went to Jersey's bar. She ordered a drink. She took a drink in the room with Dizzy and Black. Don't know what happened to her the whole night. She waited a while, went to another bar. Same thing happened. And she ended up in the hospital. She didn't even know how she got out of the bar. I said, you're sleepwalking with those drugs. She said she knew it. She was moving out of the area for safety. Hypnotic drugs, what they used on me, caused sleepwalking with amnesia. And you're under someone else's control, where I've talked to the prosecutor's office, I've talked to the police, I've talked to a criminal attorney. They all know about those drugs. There's a whole list of them that cause amnesia for 4 to 6 hours. They called them mind-controlling drugs at Faith Healing Church in 19 that could control anybody for 4 to 6 hours. It's not funny playing with a human being like that. And these idiots run around. We can steal from her, right? You don't get a damn dime. I'm going to go ahead and upload this.